You ever watch a film that just, I don't know, gets stuck in your head? A real head scratcher, but you just can't look away.
Oh, yeah.
That's Dark City for me. Came out in 98, just a year before The Matrix blew everyone's minds.
Right, and it often gets mentioned in the same breath.
It does. There's definitely some shared DNA there, questioning reality and all that. But Dark City, it does it with this amazing atmospheric sort of noir feel. It's really its own thing.
Absolutely. I mean, The Matrix had that groundbreaking action, the clear red pill, blue pill thing. Dark City is, well, it's more subtle, maybe.
Subliminal, yeah.
It just drops you into this endless night, this twilight world, and asks these really big questions about who you are. It's unsettling.
Less about the kung fu.
And much more about that existential dread.
Yeah. Exactly. And, well, that's the puzzle we're going to try and unpack today. Our mission, if you like, is to really get under the skin of Dark City.
Okay.
We want to look at the twisty plot, the characters who feel kind of familiar but also really strange, that incredible visual style, and the big ideas it's wrestling with.
Trying to connect the dots.
Yeah, hopefully finding those aha moments, seeing the film in a new light.
And we've got a really solid review of the film to work from. It dives deep into what makes it tick, why it's still so compelling.
It gives us a good map for this exploration.
Definitely.
So, okay, picture this. You wake up, no idea who you are. You're in this city where the sun, never comes up.
Mm-hmm.
Buildings seem to change shape overnight. People's identities shift.
Mm-hmm.
The ground under your feet just doesn't feel solid. What do you trust?
Wow, yeah.
Where do you even start? That's the feeling Dark City throws you into, and that's where we're diving in.
And the film wastes no time, does it? Puts you right there with John Murdoch. He wakes up, total amnesia,
right?
Dead woman in the room, and boom, he's hunted by the cops and these really creepy figures, the strangers.
Only double threat straight off the bat.
No easing you in.
And the city itself, you said it's unsettling. It really feels like a character, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Perpetual midnight, everything shifting around, streets, memories, faces. The review calls out that instability, and it's key.
Keeps you completely off balance the whole time.
And what's really clever is how Murdoch starts developing these abilities. Psychic powers, sort of. Mm-hmm. And as he starts changing, he also starts figuring out the city's secrets. It's this great parallel. His internal, awakening
unlocks the external mystery.
Yeah.
Blurs those lines even more.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about how the story actually unfolds. The review calls it a labyrinthine neo-noir, which feels perfect.
It really is. You've got that dark, sort of cynical mood.
Classic noir.
But then it layers in sci-fi, almost horror elements, and it plays with all those detective story beats you think you recognize.
It's this amazing mix of genres, but somehow it all fits together.
It really does. You get echoes of Blade Runner's decaying future, that weird, unexplained feeling from the Twilight Zone.
Definitely.
And maybe even that Kafkaesque sense of being trapped in some bizarre, illogical system. Those comparisons really help pin down its unique flavor.
And it takes its time, doesn't it? It's not rushing. The review says it unfolds slowly like a dream you can't quite wake from.
Yeah, that pacing is deliberate.
That feeling of disorientation puts you right there with Murdoch, trying to figure things out piece by piece.
And the narrative moves so naturally from, the initial murder mystery to this much deeper psychological journey about who Murdoch is, and then bam, this huge, almost cosmic reveal about what's really going on.
Every clue he finds just shifts your whole understanding.
Yeah, those are the aha moments you mentioned.
And hearing about the director's cut, it sounds like that's really the way to see it. The review mentions the theatrical cut had this spoiler-heavy opening.
Oh, absolutely. It apparently just lays out way too much right at the start.
It undermines the whole mystery.
Exactly. The director's cut takes that out, lets you feel that confusion, that sense of mystery building naturally, just like Murdoch does.
Yeah.
It makes the payoff way better.
Right, much more satisfying. Okay, so the people caught up in all this. Rufus Sewell as Murdoch. The review describes him as quiet and haunted. That feels right.
Yeah, he's not your typical action guy, is he?
No, much more inward-looking. Just trying to figure out who he is, fundamentally.
That quiet intensity he has really anchors the whole thing. Makes his struggle feel, real, even with all the surreal stuff happening.
Then you've got Kiefer Sutherland as Dr. Schraber. Twitchy and tragic. Perfect description.
Yeah, you can just picture him. He's stuck in the middle, isn't he?
Yeah.
Morally compromised.
Yeah.
Caught between the humans and the strangers.
Sutherland just embodies that sweaty, nervous energy.
He's so important, though. Forced into doing these terrible things as part of this experiment. You feel the tragedy under all that twitchiness.
And Jennifer Connelly as Emma, Murdoch's supposed wife. Soulful and mysterious, the review says.
Mm-hmm. And you're always wondering about her. Is she really his wife? What does she remember? What's her deal?
Adds another layer to that whole identity question.
But she also brings this emotional core.
Yeah.
You know, even when you doubt her story, there's a connection there with Murdoch that feels like it might be genuine. Something real in all the fakeness.
And William Hurt, bringing that classic gravelly noir detective energy
Into this completely bizarre sci-fi situation.
Yeah, he's like our stand-in, the rational guy facing something totally irrational.
He starts off all cynical and by the book, and then you watch him grapple with this impossible truth. Makes his journey really interesting.
And Richard O'Brien as Mr. Hand. Delightfully chilling is one way to put it.
He is so memorable, isn't he? That theatrical, almost gleeful menace.
As the leader or maybe spokesperson for the strangers.
O'Brien just brings this amazing, unsettling presence, and the strangers themselves visually are just fantastic. But what makes it work, I think, is that the whole cast plays it straight.
Right, no winking at the camera.
No. They commit to the reality of it, which gives all the weirdness, this emotional weight. It stops it just being, a visual trip.
Speaking of visuals, a visual feast. The review isn't wrong there.
Not at all.
That architecture, like German Expressionism meets steampunk or something, those crazy spirals, the grimy alleys.
It's incredible. A blend of 40s noir, dystopia. It feels unique.
And the cinematography, Dariusz Wolski, those colors, the greens and golds, they make everything feel slightly sick, slightly artificial.
Exactly. That color palette creates this constant sense of unease. It visually tells you something's not right here. It's all constructed, fits the themes perfectly.
And the city isn't just scenery, is it? The review points out how it changes, how it shifts at midnight when the strangers do their tuning.
Yeah, the tuning. It's like the city itself is under their control, constantly being remolded. It's such a powerful visual metaphor for their power.
Absolutely. Those sequences are amazing.
And the effects that show that. Okay, maybe some of the CGI looks a bit 90s now.
Sure, inevitable.
But they still work, I think. They convey that idea of a world that isn't solid, that can be reshaped. And the practical effects hold up really well.
Adds to the dreamlike quality, maybe.
Yeah, perhaps. It contributes to the whole unsettling atmosphere.
And you can't talk atmosphere without mentioning the sound and the music. Trevor Jones's score, lush, brooding, operatic. That sums it up well.
It really does. It weaves together the noir feel with something bigger, more sci-fi, more operatic, like the review says.
It adds another layer of mystery, that constant sense of dread. Beautiful, but, unsettling.
Like the visuals and the sound design itself, those little details.
The humming machines, the ticking clocks everywhere, those whispers.
Oh, yeah, the whispers. It makes you feel watched constantly. That sense of surveillance the review mentions. You're always on edge.
It really immerses you. And that small moment, Jennifer Connelly singing Sway in the club.
Ah, yeah. Such a poignant touch.
Adds this touch of melancholy, maybe lost humanity amidst all the darkness and confusion.
It's a little glimpse of something beautiful and sad.
It all just creates this mood. The review puts it perfectly. Sounding like a dream fading away just out of reach.
That's a great line. That feeling of something you can't quite grasp.
Which, I guess, leads us right into the deeper stuff, the themes. The review calls it an allegory wrapped in a sci-fi mystery.
Yeah, using the cool visuals and the mystery plot to talk about some really big ideas.
Like identity and memory, that's central, right?
Absolutely. If your memories aren't real, if they can be swapped out, who are you?
What's left? It really makes you think about what makes us.
Us? Is it just our past? Or is there something more, something deeper? The film seems to lean towards there being something innate, something that can't just be wiped clean.
Murdoch's resistance suggests that.
Exactly. And then there's the whole artificial reality thing. Obviously, the Matrix became huge with that idea just after.
Right. The constructed world, unseen forces pulling the strings.
But Dark City tackles it differently, I think. It feels more focused on maybe social control, the experiment aspect, rather than purely digital simulation you escape from.
Yeah, less about escape, more about understanding the cage.
And that theme of surveillance and control is so creepy. The strangers aren't just evil overlords, they're like scientists.
Studying humanity like bugs in a jar, tinkering with memories to see what happens.
It's chilling. It makes you question free will. How much are we really in control if unseen forces are shaping our experiences?
And that ties into the question of the soul, right? Is there some essential human spark that survives even if your experiences are fake?
The film definitely seems hopeful on that front. Murdoch's ability to tune, to push back. It suggests, yes, there's something core to being human that they can't quite extinguish.
And resilience.
Yeah. And I love the review's point about the dream logic of the city. How everyone seems like a noir archetype, the femme fatale, the determined cop.
Living out someone else's script.
Exactly. It highlights how artificial it all is. They're just playing roles in the stranger's ongoing experiment. No real agency.
That final analogy the review uses is brilliant. Plato's Cave, reimagined as a noir fever dream.
It nails it, doesn't it? Just perfectly captures that mix of deep philosophy and dark, unsettling style.
The city folk are the prisoners watching shadows.
And the strangers are projecting them, controlling their whole reality. Powerful stuff.
Okay, but let's be balanced. The review does mention some potential criticisms, things that might not work for everyone.
Sure. No film is perfect.
The pacing, for one, it is deliberately slow. If you're expecting nonstop action.
This isn't that movie, no.
Yeah.
It asks for your patience. It wants you to sink into that mood, that mystery. It rewards that slower burn.
And the plot is intentionally confusing at first. That disorientation can be frustrating if you're not willing to just go with it for a while.
You have to piece it together alongside Murdoch. It demands you pay attention, engage with it. It's not passive viewing.
And yeah, we mentioned the effects. Some of the CGI city stuff might look a bit vintage now.
Maybe. But the review makes a fair point. They still serve the atmosphere. They add to that constructed, unreal feeling. And the practical stuff is great.
And it sounds like the studio messing with the theatrical cut really did hurt it initially, having to seek out the director's cut.
Yeah, that's always a shame. It shows how important the director's vision is for a film like this.
Yeah.
But the review concludes, and I agree, that if you connect with its rhythm, its ideas.
It's a haunting, cerebral masterpiece.
Pretty much. A rewarding watch.
And those moments that just stick with you. The review calls out the city transformations, just stunning visually.
Oh, yeah. Buildings twisting and reforming.
Yeah.
It shows the stranger's power in such a visceral way. Reality itself bending.
And when Murdoch finally gets it, when he starts to tune himself.
Yeah. That shift from him being the victim, the subject.
To someone who can fight back on their level. Manipulating reality himself. That's a powerful moment.
It's where you see that human potential finally breaking through their control.
Kiefer Sutherland's big explanation scene, too. The review calls it tragic and essential.
It really is. He just lays bare the awful truth of what's happening, the desperation of it all. It's raw, and it's crucial for understanding everything.
And that final showdown, up above the city, epic, symbolic.
Dream versus nightmare, yeah. Control versus freedom. It's a great climax visually and thematically.
So wrapping it all up, Dark City really is this amazing fusion, isn't it? Noir atmosphere, sci-fi ideas.
Digging into huge questions. Identity, memory, reality, control.
It manages to feel dreamlike, but also really specific and thoughtful about free will, about starting over, all wrapped in this dark, unique package.
And it lingers. You know, it's a film that really stays with you, makes you think.
It's interesting how it was kind of overlooked at first, overshadowed maybe by The Matrix coming out.
But it definitely found its audience.
Yeah.
Rightly recognized now as a cult classic. It's less about the action, more about the ideas.
More philosophical.
Yeah. And that final quote from the review sums it up so well. Dark City is a stunning, cerebral sci-fi noir about memory, control, and the spark of human identity. Visually hypnotic and thematically profound, an underrated masterpiece of 90s cinema. Open your eyes.
Open your eyes. That's the perfect takeaway, isn't it? It's an invitation from the film itself.
Definitely.
And it leaves you with that thought, doesn't it? Okay, maybe not exactly this, but inspired by it. If the world around you felt fake, if your memories felt unreliable, what's the one thing, the single thing you would hold on to define what's real for you?
That's a heavy one.
It is. A good thought to chew on long after the credits roll, and maybe long after this deep dive finishes too.